So here we are at our 12th installment of the discussion starters on James chapter 5. And I don't know about you. I had planned to do this one outside in the beautiful weather we've been having in Iowa. And of course, this morning, when I wanted to do it, then it's threatening rain. Uh, Goes back to considering it pure joy, my brothers, when you endure trials of many kinds, right? That's where we started in James. And I hope you found that the James study has been very practical for you, because I think James addresses a lot of the things that we're thinking in life, things that we're dealing with. It's addresses life on a very practical level. So when we get to chapter 5, we're in one of those odd passages, much like we were in chapter 1, verse 12 and following, where he's talking. Now listen, you rich people, wail, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming upon you. Your wealth is rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver have corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. Really good stuff, hey? You've hoarded wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workmen who mowed your fields are crying out against you. Okay. Hmm. The How do we identify with that as something that we can relate to? Most of the rest of James has been very relatable. And we come here and we say, so what's this mean for us? Well, when you think about it from a broader point of view, uh, he's talking about those individuals who work for us. And right off the bat, you're going to say, I don't have any employees. Nobody works for me. I don't have a business. Uh, and many of you who do have a business say, well, I pay my people fairly. He's talking a little bit differently, because he says, you've lived on earth in luxury and indulgence. You've fattened yourselves in the day of slaughter. You've condemned and murdered innocent men who were not opposing you. James is leveling the playing field here. In God's eyes, none of us are better than another. We're either sinners who deny the presence of God, or sinners who acknowledge the presence of God and bow our lives to Him. We're either saved or not. Money is one of those things that we all need, but if you're basing your eternity on it, or your even present security on it, you've sort of skewed the playing field that God wants us to be in. If you love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, as it says all the way from Deuteronomy up to the time of Jesus, and Jesus uh, brings that out in nearly every gospel, then money is a side factor, not a main factor. And I nudge you with this passage says, look, the wages you failed to pay the workmen who mowed your fields are crying out against you. It really has less to do with dollars and cents as it does being fair to the people around you. Now, all of us want to rush out and get a good deal. And when we dicker on a car, we always want to Jew them down, right? That's part of what we do. Do we realize that on the other side of this equation of making a deal is someone else's livelihood, someone else's income? So when I ask the question, how do you look at those people who work for you? I'm thinking of those people like the boy who mows your lawn, or the guy who changes oil in your car, or the lady who cuts your hair, or the waitress that you meet at the diner. My wife and I, over the years, used to take Sunday meals out after church as a way for her not to have to cook the meal. And in those times, we would start to engage the waiter or the waitress in conversation and get to know them, because we almost always went to the same places. And we got to know them well. And I got to realize their life situations. And so I tipped them well. Now, I wish I could say I did that in every situation, but I have to come back here and say, so how do I look at those people who work for me? And I'd ask you to do the same. Everybody you encounter today is in one way or another a part of your social network. And some of them are the people who work for you. How do you look at them? Do you look at them as a different economic status? And so maybe they don't quite rate where you are. And yeah, we don't want to associate with them on a social level anyway. Or do you view them as, these are fellow sojourners in this journey that God has put us on called life? And I wonder if they know Jesus. And I wonder if I can share my Jesus with them. And I wonder if they have a need today that I could help them with. I invite you to think about it.